Sarah Hops with Rhinebeck School of Music, and in this lesson I'm going to continue on with like some more Jimi Hendrix chord fills, because that seems to be the theme these days for some of my students. So, we're going to take the Wind Cries Mary. I'm not going to do the whole song. Obviously there's different sections to this song, and they're easy enough to find on YouTube. But I'm going to take the main chord progression, which is C to B flat to F, and all the little chord fills that kind of go in between those chords, which is really fun. So if you're going to do stuff like this, first thing you want to know is what key is the song in, because that determines which scales you're going to be able to play over this, right? So if we have a C major chord, a B flat major chord, and an F major chord, those are three major chords, so it has to be some sort of 1, 4, 5 in there, right? So what I always tell my students is, if you have three major chords, most likely it is going to be some kind of 1, 4, 5 chord progression. So you find the two chords that are a whole step apart, right? So that would be the B flat and the C, because then you know that's your 4 chord, that's your 5 chord, and the remaining chord is your 1 chord, right? So this is a 5 to a 1, it's a 5 to a 4 to a 1. Alright, so we're just going to be vamping on that chord progression. It's a good one to put on your looper and just kind of experiment with. So if we are in the key of F major, which we just established, 5, 4, 1 is F, that means you can use your F major pentatonic, which is the same as what? Your D minor pentatonic, right? Talking about relative scales. So off of this chord, you have your second pattern in D, which is your first pattern in F major pentatonic. And then moving off of that, on the 3rd fret here, you have your 3rd pattern in D, which is your second pattern in F. Okay, so those are your two pentatonic scales that you're kind of working off of here. So what you can do is you can play the C to the B flat. And I'm just kind of making stuff up here that's kind of based off of what Jimmy does. But you can see, you know, over the C chord I don't really do much. Sometimes I do a little arpeggio off the bar chord, right? Then I hit the root of the B flat, and that kind of brings me into those 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5 of that pattern. And then resolving to that root, which often he plays with his thumb, so he can do these little sus2s and, you know, little extensions that he puts on the F chord, right? You know, so it's really fun to play off of that. So here's like some real life examples. Here's one. Right, so I'm just hitting the root of the C chromatically down to the B flat, and then using my thumb to hit the F, and then it goes into this sus2 chord. Right, so that's kind of fun. Right, here's another one. You go from the C bar chord, and now I'm going to do off of that 3rd pattern, right? So and then this, very Jimmy. Just hitting, you know, that double stop on the 1st fret and hammering onto that 3rd fret there. So we have favorites, kind of like playing around with this F chord pattern here on the higher strings. It's fun. All right, now this one kind of gets into more like 16th note. So variations. Here's another one. That was a little busy. But you can also take, you know, different chord inversions. So like thinking of the C up here and the B flat to the F here, and just taking here. And he loves to play this ninth, this add 9 chord with the pinky. So this is kind of based on that, you know. So he starts with this. Different ways you can play that, right? I'm using all kinds of variations, not strictly what's written, but I wrote something down just so you kind of had a guide of something to follow, right? Right, so you can also use these bassier tones over that F chord. So, you know, you got these higher tones, and then you've got those little bassier tones too. So any of that stuff works, and it's kind of fun to do, like, chord inversions are also kind of fun. So there's different ways that you can play these chords around the neck, right? And those where like your little triads and arpeggios kind of come in too. There's many ways to play this. All right, anyway, so I hope that was helpful. If you haven't already, visit www.rhinebeckschoolofmusic.com and subscribe, become a patron, patreon.com/rhinebeckschoolofmusic. See you at the next one.